wondering real quick if we could just go around and just say who we are. I mean, no, just start out, just so that we kind of get a sense of people. So I'm Eric. I hang out over here. And then he's going to be helping. He's a kahu a little bit. He's a kahu of the Makaha, and he's the historian. This is the historical memory for Makaha Valley. And we're going to go to Makaha, and he was a kahu of the here.
I'm Mary from Water Water. Hey, yeah, he's ready.
I'm Chelsea.
And you're with?
I'm with the Pine. Sorry. I'm Amy from Board of Water Supply.
Hello, I'm Julie Cachola. I'm with the Neighborhood Board, and I'm born and raised in Wai'anae, with Yankee words, but I'm also a planner at home.
Dennis from Water Water.
I am Council Member Kimberly Pine.
And Kim Matsumoto, Board of Water.
I'm on a Water Water also.
Janine Gomes, Senator Shimabuko's office.
Kathy Davenport from Council of the Pine staff.
Ken Koike with the Neighborhood Board.
Patty Isaac, School Mount Florida.
Stephanie Figueroa, Wai'anae Homestead, Wai'anae Water City Club.
Support to the call from my Wai'anae residents.
Probably Walker, Councilmember Pine staff.
And Kathy, we get from both of the staff.
David Rouse, Ahupo, Makaha, and Albert Donne de Ala.
Matt Carriage from Kimberly Pine staff.
Aloha, Kaina Nakani Aloha with Eala Voyaging Academy.
Kaiolani Milam. I live in Makaha and I'm a local freelance writer.
I'm Diaz Picuin, member of the Wai'anae Hawaiian Civic Club, also resident in the Wai'anae Valley Homestead community.
Aloha, Georgiana Navarro, also from Ahupua'a, Wai'anae, president of Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club, and I also sit on the board of Mount Kilo.
Alfred.
Aloha, Hanale of Pokaiwe. Aloha, Mark Paului, Wai'anae Kai Homestead, Wai'anae Neighborhood Board.
Well, just a little bit of history, and then I know we need to get into Makaha, but in 1978 we came up here, like I had mentioned, through the Wai'anae Rep Center, and this land was set aside. We started first with the Camp Kahala, cleaning out cars, appliances, you name it, hauling, because usually the end of the road is where you dump stuff, and streams is where you dump all your rubbish. And that's because it was all, no connection to our food. Our food was all from Farrington Highway, for your fishermen or the farming, so we've lost that tradition. So anyway, we came in here and same thing here, just haul out rubbish. And then after that, try to keep people from dumping rubbish. But a lot of people who dumped never went into a program that talked about Aina. They never were involved. That's why working with the schools at Amy is so important. Getting the kids to become stewards of our environment, to understand and make the connection that this land is our land. It belongs to all of us, to Malama. Yeah. But anyway, we came up here, like I said, it was totally dry. And then we walked this area. So you gotta imagine, you see how thick the brush is like that? It's just like you couldn't even walk up here. You have to go like this. Yeah. And we walked up here, then we started hitting these walls. But they're all Kohaule grass. Yeah? The grass is like this tall. I have no idea what it was. I'm born and raised Makaha. Went to one school for Hawaiians. I ate poi one day a year. No connection to our culture. We came back, working Nanakuli, the study says we got to understand our mountains, our watershed. But under the RAP Center, they got this property for us to go camping, took the kids down there. And then we said, we got to do more than camping. Walked up inside here, saw these walls, and said, well, what are these walls? They're not natural. Called the Bishop Museum. Marion Kelly came out with Eric Komori and Aki Shinoto. Aki's dad was Yoshio Shinoto, the father of Hawaiian archaeology. They came up here and they said they brought a map done in 1906 by a guy named Montserrat. You know where Montserrat Avenue? Yeah. That's where L.E. Gator lives. Yeah? Landis found a few of those in Makaha. It showed all the map that showed the entire back of the valley and taro cultivation. And we said, taro, what is that? I'm Hawaiian, I'm educated. I know we get it from a plastic bag, but that's my relationship with kalo. I don't want to stream of beer. And that's what a Hawaiian was, a ukulele under a coconut tree. There was no connection to Aina. I mean, out in Wai'anae, I mean, we're a farming family, yeah, but not the culture, yeah. You know. But anyway, came inside, hacked our way in, and I said, okay, we gotta find water. So I talked to Fiona Silva. She said there's this guy in Hilo, his name is Matsuura, Senator Matsuura from Hilo. We'll talk to him. So I called him up, he came down, and he brought his staff up, and he said, let's walk it. The reason is that Senator Matsuura was with, at that time, Governor Ariyoshi. And Ariyoshi had his agriculture coordinating committee. Senator Matsuura was the brain. He was one of the smartest guys in agriculture. He's the one that brought in the drip system from Israel, I think. The drip system was in, I mean, I could be wrong, but some of the drip systems were designed in desert countries. If you want to learn about water, go to a desert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where you find hot water. And that's why places like Petra, water. How to use water, how to use it correctly, how to, so that's what's going to teach you. Basically, plenty of water. I was with the Wai'anae people last week, and over there, they're trying to get rid of water. I mean, Wai'anae is like water. That's in Kauai. Yeah?
No, we're not jealous.
I mean, water, the streams, and they got so much water. I mean, even like the. So anyway, another story. Wai'anae, the water, So anyway, walked up. He says, "Let's walk." So I give him credit, but the trails were hunting trails, and right over here is actually the ridge. This is, if you look at the spine of this side of the valley, look at this point. It goes down this way. It goes down this way. So that's the spine. I'm following this spine, this EV, and you go up. If you look up there, you can see our trail. When you go down, you can see the trail right from here, 1 mile to where we stuck our pipe in the plantation diversion ditch. So anyway, Matsuura walked up there. He says, "Okay, you see this plantation diversion ditch with the flume? But it's all power already, sugar power, yeah? This is where you guys got to go and put your pipe inside here. Surface runoff water. It's 1 mile up, and the old flumes are there. But it still goes. It's still another butch, another mile after that, another mile and a half. Butch, yeah? To get to the yeah. So maybe about 3 miles from here to the actual tunnels that I think was that plantation system tunnel originally?
Originally.
Yeah, and the water supply then came in.
Suburban.
Yeah, the suburban water supply. So anyway, we walked up. He says, "Okay, this is where you go. It's all on state land," and he says, "Okay, this is what you do. You do a conservation district use application to get the surface runoff water, because it's already been tapped at top by the water supply at that time. This was in 1976. Okay, so I went and got a conservation district use application. It took me about 1.5 years. Up to forestry, I have to talk to all the agencies, long process. I went through all the permits for us to do this. It was designed by University of Hawaii. I went to see a wastewater engineer named Harris Gitlin, a wastewater engineer. He designed the system for us to put our pipe inside the old plantation ditch. So I submitted all those plans, took it to the channels, took it, and then I heard no. And I went, oh. We're trying to get kids, working with the butter knife down at the pot. You know the butter knife? You know the side window of those cars? Pay the tourists of their cash. That's the kids we work with, the Wai'anae Rap Center. So I said, we better teach those kids how to work. Because guaranteed their fathers are, that's all. Breakfast of Champions was a primo beer. Literally. Yeah, we saw that culture, yeah. And as well, mostly it was Hawaiians that were involved, bro. What happened to us, yeah? You gotta get them connected back to their roots, back to the roots. Give them purpose. The most dangerous weapon in this world is not an atomic bomb. It's a young man without connection. It's the most dangerous thing we have. Not connected to place, not connected to food, not connected to family. And they strap stuff to them. So that's the danger. Poverty. This is not poverty. We're supposed to reverse it. Anyway, when I found out that I couldn't get that water, went before the land board, which controlled the land, state lease, and looked down the names, try to find one Hawaiian name. I figured to start there, and I said, Larry, hey, how? You know, call me back. Oh, Moses Kalo. Moses, how's it? Yola told me to call you. Oh, okay. Come down to the office, bring all you guys research and everything. I brought down all the maps, CDUA permit, everything. I said, hey, but we tried working with the kids in Wai'anae Rap Center, we get this land. We started to clear the land already. We started by hand, yeah. Look at all these pictures, and we bring in water bottles and everything. Dry. The stream was dry, not one drop. Cleaning in a hot sun, getting the kids working. So what happened was that in 1978, we ran the water. We ran the 2-inch pipe. We did exactly what the plan says. We ran the water. We ran them up 1 mile up there. We stuck them in the plantation diversion ditch. We put one little screen. We brought it down 1 mile. So it's about 700 feet elevation on top and about 400 feet over here. So you get about, so you're going down one mile. So by the time you hit down here, you get about 125 pounds PSI per square inch. As Butch knows, you run the sprinklers. You shut the water, you run the sprinklers. We can run how many sprinklers? 25 sprinklers. That's why everything green, yeah? Yeah. Because when it's not in the low E, we run them in the sprinklers and run it. It's all from up there. So anyway, we went ahead and did the water system. I got Department of Ag had a system that you could help pay for the pipes, and the trust, one of the elite trusts gave me some money, a little grant. So we bought the pipe, we ran the water, and the Mayor Summer Youth Program was a co-conspirator. That was with the kids, and I had the Rap Center kids. So we actually ran the water system, and we planted kalo in the top, and the Ripoons helped us learn how to plant taro. Yeah. So Ripoons in Wai'anae. Yeah. The reason why we were denied was that at that time something was happening in Wai'anae. The ditches. Yeah. And then that's when they diverted the water from the stream and had the power growers in Wai'anae at that time. So the Ripoons actually, they went Harvard. They're farmers. And there was something at that time called legal aid. The legal aid at that time had teeth. It could bite the hand that fed them. So what happened, Ron Alba was an attorney. The taro farmers got together in Wai'anae and they took the water supply to court for that. So at that same time we were doing it in Wai'anae. So that's why the coincidence was that they were getting very nervous of these uprisings that actually think that people can start using water in the valleys for these traditional uses. So anyway, that's when I called Moki, because we already was planting the taro. But we had no choice. It's either that, go back down the beach, sit underneath the bullshit tree, and keep drinking and getting high. I mean, that's what. Yeah. I mean, we had to have an alternative. Yeah. We had to give purpose. So that's why we ran the water, started planting taro. So for about 6 months, we just was doing it, and then DLNR enforcement agents came out. Don't care. And they were huffing and puffing with their guns. Okay, illegal diversion. We got turned in. We're illegally diverting water out of Wai'anae Valley. How ironic. The plantations took all the water out. Here we are putting it back, and we get. I mean, they're only doing their job, yeah. So fucking these brothers, you guys, illegal diversion. You guys, okay. That's when I had to go down the list of DLNR and try and find who I can talk to. Took my case before the land board. Moki took a look at it. He says, let's talk to this guy, Roger Evans. I think he was the AG at that time. They looked at it. They says, you guys did all you guys stuff. You did all the homework. You did everything what you were told to do. You come back to our next land board meeting. You make a presentation. I'll take care of the rest. Okay. But you know how these decisions. And then, anyway, I brought all the information. So the land board voted at that meeting to allow us to lay the pipe on state land. Now this is all state land. This is for Hawaiian Homeland Scholar. So this is all state lease. All this state land up here. So the land board gave us permission where the pipe lays on the land. It gave us permission to lay the pipe on state land. However, where that pipe enters the stream was outside of the state's jurisdiction. That was a ruling. Just so you guys go think about that. They allow you to lit a pipe on state land. Now, where that pipe enters the Hawaii, the stream, was outside of the state's jurisdiction. No. The question of who owns the water? Okay, who owns the water?
Us.
Stingy.
Honestly, the community.
For the people.
Who owns the air? Who owns the sun?
Yeah.
I asked high school kids this. Oh, Bottle Water Supply owns the water. He says, no, Bottle Water Supply owns the pipe. Water Supply owns the transfer system. Water is a public trust.
It's a right.
It's but it has to be managed properly. That's what the agency is. So at that time, the state was right in the middle of trying. That's why this is before the CONCON, where it established the Water Commission, because that question is. And it was fought, there are actually water cases on Kauai where two plantations were suing each other for the water rights. Never mind that the Kanakas who was planting kalo, that's been all pushed aside. That's why that water case on Maui you see. Bringing back some of that shit. Water is life, yeah? And water is wealth. Control water, you control wealth. So anyway, land board voted that so we could continue, and so here we are today, 1978. So here we are. But we're good friends with Bottle Water Supply. We see that it's our collective responsibility to manage it pono. It's the details. The beauty is in the details of how to do it correctly, and I think we go to Makaha and we can have a good example of starting fresh. Yeah. So anyway, that's just a real quick background of where we're at today. Educating the public, and and it's not only because don't forget the military. Lulule is now decommissioned, base. They're trying to pull all the stuff out of those bunkers there. That's why they had Johnson Island. They had stuff stored there from how many wars, So what do you do with old, who knows what? I mean, there's some pretty nasty stuff that gets used in wars. Because why? Because no longer is NAD, Naval Ammunition Depot in Lulule, able to store the ammunition from the Navy. Why is that? If never have 9/11, they would have built their facilities. They were building the facilities at Pearl Harbor itself. You're bringing in all these armaments. Now you got to store all these weapons. So okay, let's take them in one car, in one truck, load all these weapons, go from Pearl Harbor. Let's take it through Pearl City. Let's go through Kapolei, and then let's go into NAD. There's some questions. One terrorist, boom, right? Those trucks, I mean, maybe they're going at night with police escort, but it's like one big red flag. Coming to the most populated, that's why Naval Ammunition Depot in Lulule was decommissioned, That place is beautiful. It's not like Makua where there's UXO, unexploded ordnances. Those bunkers are, they're cleaned out. The infrastructures are there, land is flat, and Puhawai has all the water. You look back, you go back into, that's another Huaka'i, by the way. Take a look at that. That's all the look in Huaka'i. That's right across from us, the military, and if you go back and you look up NAD, when you pass by, you look up into the valley, you're going to see on this side, right over this ridge over here, you can see on pipe. That's what fed the base. And everything, water, waste, everything. Anyway, that's just a real quick. Any questions?
Yeah, so Uncle Eric, when the fire happened and it started to actually show the walls, right? Yeah. We were hoping, because I know Kim Pine got to see the damage from the fire. Right? And the question is, because we're getting less and less rainfall, the amount of rain that we have becomes more precious every year. Is it possible to reuse and open up those ancient terraces so that you can capture more of the rain that we do have?
That's a long yes, but.
And can it ever become Board of Water policy to generate water through the capture of rainfall as it's already in like Oregon, Washington, and Florida, with constructed wetlands? Because it's not policy yet at the Board of Water level or at Water Commission. We've been begging somebody to consider the ancient ways we used to generate water and to make it modern policy, because I know I'm preaching to the choir when I talk to Eric guys about this. They're the ones that taught us. But we still don't understand how come it's not policy here where it's been traditionally sold in Hawaii. It's just a mystery to us.
Yeah, well, I know there are pockets where we can take small steps,
Aye.
and we're trying to do that, whether it's a broad policy. What I try to do is combine historical ways of managing with current, put it in a future context, today's context. This is a prime example. So, I mean, if you would ask the Water Commission, should there be a statewide policy to do that? I would be shocked if they said no, but it's all in the how you do it.
Because I love what you're doing in Makaha by capturing the water that's coming out of Glover Tunnel, but to capture rainfall, because we're getting less and less, and it's been projected to be less and less every year. The precious little rain that we do have, it almost forces us to catch whatever we can get.
You know,
And to hold it as long as possible.
That's why we focus on forest health.
Aye.
Because the forest is the sponge.
Of course.
We don't have huge amounts of land to put a lot of these stormwater capture, like say Nu'uanu Dam. You're gonna see Wai'anae Reservoir,
Yes.
where we store rubber tunnel, but it's used for the golf course. But anyway, capture.
Oh, that's Pono.
It's
Yeah. Yeah, because again, we always hope that the lo'i could be used as a kind of reservoir. No one talks about lo'i as water production,
No, I think
as being the primary purpose. Yeah.
I think we all recognize the benefits of restoring and what a lo'i can do. Look at the stream. So, but it happens in sections.
Aye. And we never considered lo'i as being a fire preventative as well. Yeah. But knowing the fire that just destroyed this hale that we're sitting under, yeah, that we never used to have fire issues in Wai'anae Valley until the stream stopped flowing, and it only makes sense, right? But the lo'i would actually be a fire preventive as its second purpose, to generate water as its first. That kalo production would be tertiary. Nobody guessed, yeah, nobody, because we always thought the lo'i was to grow food. Yeah.
When we get into Makaha, Amy can maybe talk about the vegetative firebreaks projects that we have in Makaha. Doing a lot of research, doing some land management, forestry management. So maybe you can talk about that there. Maybe a good segue to maybe head on out.
Aye.
It's,
Thank you, Uncle Eric.